Sitting here on my phone. I didn't say a word to you.
You didn't have to.
She just came over to me out of nowhere.
You lied to
We
me.
need to get out of the car, okay?
Would you like to take a preliminary breath test?
Karen's toughest punishment yet. Welcome back. Today we will explore the outrageous actions of Karens that cost them dearly. Stay tuned to see the serious consequences they face for their uncontrolled behavior. Disneyland is usually children's laughter, but what happens when parents come along? Let's watch Disneyland. Karen tries to board ride from exit. On October 5th, 2022, a video went viral and garnered a large audience, showing a woman carrying her child, defying instructions from staff at Disneyland, California. According to the information provided, as the family approached the entrance, they saw a long line of people winding out, a testament to the ride's enduring popularity. Our protagonist, Kren, appeared to be growing increasingly restless as the line moved slowly. Her family, caught up in the magic of the moment, seemed oblivious to her growing frustration. As the minutes ticked by, the woman's frustration reached its peak. She looked around the area and saw staff busy directing other passengers to the ride's exit. In what seemed like a moment of frustration, she decided that the rules did not apply to her. Losing her patience, she climbed over the portal to let her child in, bypassing the queue and heading straight for the ride's exit. The park employee, following Disneyland's strict operating procedures, gently informed the woman that she could not board the ride from the exit. He explained that everyone needed to line up in the designated order to ensure a fair and orderly experience for all guests. His words were calm and professional, but the woman's reaction was anything but. The woman's face turned red with anger as she began arguing with the park employee. Her voice, which had been filled with the excitement of the day, was now laced with frustration and indignation. She demanded to know why she could not board the ride from the exit, clearly upset that her request was denied. The argument quickly escalated, drawing the attention of other park goers. The woman's frustration exploded into a full-blown outburst, her voice echoing over the general chaos of the park. She began berating the employee, accusing him of ruining her day and refusing to acknowledge the fairness of park policies. Her outburst was a scene of anger and disbelief. Nearby guests watched in stunned silence as the woman's emotions reached a boiling point. Some looked on with sympathy, others with disapproval. The scene was a stark contrast to the harmony and joy that is typically associated with the Disneyland experience. In California, Penal Code, Chapter 415, defines this as a section that governs disorderly conduct. This includes making noise, fighting, or threatening to cause harm. Violations of this section can result in fines or jail time. Violations of the ordinance, disorderly conduct, and obstructing the safe direction of an employee put Karen in violation of this section. This would put her in jail for up to 3 months and a fine of up to $400. We are always taught to respect our elders. But do all elders deserve respect? Let's take a look at this old woman's unreasonable behavior. Crazy old lady at Subway thinks I'm hacking. The video was recorded by Emily on November 11th, 2022, at Subway in Florida. According to the information provided, Emily was sitting, waiting for her food at Subway, when suddenly things took a strange turn. An old woman, probably in her 70s, approached Emily with a very unpleasant expression on her face. The old woman was identified by her white hair. and her jacket that looked old from years of use. What happened next was something Emily never expected. As soon as the conversation started, the old woman irrationally pointed at Emily and said that what she was doing on her phone would land her in jail. Although Emily tried to reason with her, the old woman's words only became more violent. She accused Emily of all sorts of strange things, claiming that her use of technology was illegal and threatening. As the confrontation escalates, the old woman's behavior becomes increasingly erratic. Emily decides to record the encounter, hoping to capture what happened. In the video, you can see the woman's face flush with anger, her words both accusatory and confused. Feeling increasingly uncomfortable, Emily decides to seek help. She asks a nearby security guard for help, hoping that the presence of a police officer might diffuse the situation. The undercover officer looks both worried and confused. The old woman continues to nag, accusing Emily of criminal activities related to her phone. Even the older Karen accused her of being a hacker and threatened her not to do anything to her. After a brief but tense conversation, the security guard convinces the old woman to leave.
It's fine.
As she walks away, she looks at Emily one last time, accusing and angry. But the immediate threat has passed. The old woman's behavior was strange, but there were consequences if her actions continued to become more extreme. Her actions of repeatedly accusing the girl with baseless accusations violated the Disorderly Conduct Act. In Florida, Statutes, Chapter 877, Section 03, states that this provision governs public conduct, including causing noise, causing trouble, or other conduct that disrupts public order, including assault, without causing injury. The old woman's actions could result in her being sentenced to up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000, depending on the circumstances of the case. A normal Karen has caused a lot of problems. What will happen when police officers have to face drunk Karen driving recklessly on the road every day? Let's see what punishment will come to this drunk Karen. Drunk Karen flips out after officer ruins her date night. In the final, we'll take a closer look at a violent encounter that occurred on February 9th, 2024 in Florida. In this last case, it all started when Officer Nolan, who was on routine patrol, noticed a vehicle driving erratically. Due to the car's strange behavior, the officer decided to investigate further. When she checked the license plate, she discovered that the vehicle's registration had expired. This was her signal to initiate a traffic stop. Behind her, the driver, whom we'll call Karen, pulled over. What started as a routine traffic stop quickly escalated into a tense and dramatic exchange.
Is this your car?
Yes.
Do you have your driver's license? I'm gonna have you step out and do field sobriety tests.
We haven't even talked.
So what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna offer you field sobriety tests. Is that something that you'd be willing to do?
At the start of the conversation, Karen's initial response was calm, but it soon became clear that something was wrong. Officer Nolan noticed that Karen appeared disoriented and could smell alcohol on her breath. The police immediately asked her to produce her driver's license and vehicle registration for inspection. The police gave Karen a moment to find the registration, but then asked an important question.
And then I made contact with you at the window, and I detected the strong odor of an alcoholic beverage.
What?
And you're slurring your words.
Why would I want to do that?
If you don't think you're drunk, it'll prove to me you're not drunk. But if you say yes, then if you take field sobriety tests and...
The police officer asked her how much she had drunk, and Karen reflexively said that she had had a few drinks. Karen seemed to realize her mistake and immediately became flustered. At this point, Officer Nolan detected slurred speech and a strong odor of alcohol. Knowing the potential dangers of driving while intoxicated, she suggested that Karen take a road sobriety test. Karen's reaction began to show signs of agitation. She seemed to misunderstand the purpose of the road sobriety test.
Then you'll be taken into custody. If you take field sobriety tests and then you pass, then you'll be free to go. Taking you into custody for WI.
So here's the problem with that.
Okay.
Like, you can say...
Karen's reaction began to show signs of agitation. She seemed to misunderstand the purpose of the road sobriety test, which was to determine whether she was fit to drive. Karen repeatedly stated that being stopped for drunk driving was unreasonable, and Karen's emotional outbursts became increasingly out of control, which only made the situation worse.
You thinking that you're stopping me for the tag.
Would you like to take field sobriety test or not?
Oh, I absolutely remember.
Okay.
She refused to comply with the officer's demands, insisting that she had never been charged with a DUI. Officer Nolan remained professional, but was clearly frustrated with Karen's lack of cooperation.
Are you going to do field sobriety test or not? Because we're not going to debate this in the middle of the street all night, all right? I told you about my observations, why I think you're under the influence, and I've offered you field sobriety tests or not.
You pulled me over because my tags were expired.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you just give me...
Karen's frustration boiled over as Officer Nolan attempted to pull her out of the car and accused her of lying. The argument escalated, with Karen refusing to comply with instructions. Despite Officer Nolan's repeated demands, Karen continued to resist.
And then I'm going to make you get out.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. You just lied to me.
I need you to get out of the car.
You lied to me.
You need to get out of the car, okay?
At this point, it became clear that the situation was no longer about an expired registration or a sobriety test, but about obeying and respecting the law. Realizing that Karen's actions were more than a simple traffic stop, Officer Nolan called for backup. It was clear that more than one officer was needed to handle the situation effectively. Finally, Officer Nolan decided to take more drastic action.
You need to get out of the car.
I have never, ever been stopped for drunk driving. Oh my God.
You need to get out.
I have never been stopped for drunk. You hear that? I'm uncooperative.
Well, if you're cooperative, you would have gotten out of the car, ma'am.
Because she said that she has seen me before a drunk driving before.
Okay, face the
liar,
car. Face the
liar,
car.
liar.
Face the car, would you?
I am facing the car.
Okay.
You fucking lied.
You don't have any.
You
don't have any weapons on you, do you?
Really? Do you think?
Would you like to
No,
take a
you know
preliminary
what?
breath test?
You said that I've been stopped before.
Would you
for
like to
drunk
take a
driving? You said that I have been stopped before for drunk driving.
Would you like to take
No.
a preliminary breath test?
You, I have never been stopped.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Sounds good.
Karen was pulled out of the car and arrested. Karen's night ended not with a romantic dinner or a peaceful evening, but with a trip to the police station. Officers took her to the police department for processing before she was eventually taken to the county jail. Charges included driving under the influence, a DUI, and obstructing an officer. In Florida, DUI is defined under Florida statutes. Chapter 316, Section 193. According to this statute, a person is considered to be driving under the influence if they are impaired by alcohol, drugs, or a combination of both. To the extent that their normal faculties are impaired, a deliberate act of driving under the influence of alcohol has forced her to face legal charges under this law. She will face a sentence of up to 9 months in prison and a fine. of up to $2,000. Combined with previous charges, when the driver's license is expired, resisting a police officer when asked to take a test, and resisting handcuffs and obstructing arrest, fall under this legal framework. In Florida statutes, Chapter 843.02, this statute deals with the crime of resisting a police officer with or without violence. Resisting with violence includes actively resisting or obstructing a police officer with force, while resisting without violence is nonviolent obstruction. This statute classifies these actions as disrupting law enforcement procedures. All right, fellas, what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting and educational contents in the future. Thanks for your sub.